we got some news here about Starfleet Academy and what's apparently happening with that one, or what might not be happening with that one. Kurtzman has finally put out that they're going to start shooting late this summer on that, with about 6 months of shooting and then another 6 months of post production. We might see it in 2026. Yeah, that's never when they start backpedaling that much. I mean, this is the same franchise that overlapped Next Gen, then DS9, then overlapped DS9 with Voyager, and had Enterprise come out right on the heels of Voyager coming. It's like they don't like being long delays here. Long delays, people tend to forget this out there. That's the old going. Although in this case, it's probably a good thing because, but there's been no casting announcements. No setting, no announcement of what timeline it's going to be in or what time period it's going to be in. Everyone's guessing it's going to be 31st century with Tilly as an instructor, but that's all speculation. So it's probably the safest bet because at least it's their era they created. So yeah, take a dump in your own bed all you want, leave the rest of the Star Trek universe alone. But with everything in flux, because we've got a couple things here. One from Daily Star Trek news, because the thing that we're going to be pushing this back a bit, but also a lot of happy talk. But we can't alienate old fans like you've been doing for the past, God, ever since 2009 with JJ Trek, you've been alienating fans, and with Discovery, you just shit all over them. So quit with the happy talk. We know you don't believe it. Okay? But with everything in flux, and up to and including Paramount Global being up for sale. And new management generally likes to come in and sweep clean all the old crap that they don't want to deal with. Kurtzman apparently wants out. He wants to be bought out. And of course, once he's gone, there's no obligation to follow through with his Starfleet Academy show. Nobody wants this show anyway. Roddenberry shot down the ideas of an Academy show going back to the original series. No, we're talking about professionals, adults going up there. We don't care about kids. Kids shouldn't be doing this anyway. They're back in the academy learning about it. What kind of responsibility we can put cadets out there in danger? No, you got professionals. You don't do that. So this has been an ongoing thing, and it didn't work with Harv Bennett wanted to do a Starfleet Academy show or movie. So the way everything being influenced, and then Paramount's up for sale. Paramount Global is up for sale, and it's fighting between Warner Brothers and Skydance and everything. And Kurtzman wants out anyway. It's not going to happen. He's pushed this thing back to early 2026 when we're likely to see the first of those 10 episodes. So odds are, no, it's going to get canned. In fact, don't be surprised if the Section 31 movie gets canned as well. It doesn't take it. They may not understand Star Trek any better now than they did back in the 60s, but they know audience reaction when they see it. That petition to get Star Trek Legacy was bigger than the one that got Star Trek, that Strange New Worlds greenlit. It got a very favorable response from the fans. Yeah, okay, this is it. This is what we wanted. This is proper Star Trek. It's close to it. Everyone's acting like their characters again. We finally saw Jean-Luc Picard, not Patrick Stewart, acting out his childhood traumas for us. And everyone was and yeah, they were older. They were they'd been through things. They weren't the same people, but they were the same people. It was Geordi, but older with more responsibilities. Data finally integrated properly, and not wanting to be blown away. No, I think I'll stick around. I'm rather enjoying this existence. And Jonathan Frakes is probably more in tune with Riker than he'd ever been. So going back to during the original, the Next Generation, and we're going to start it. That's Troy. Yeah, there we go. And they and also a lot of this is more for the Canonista crowd, but what Matalas did as much as he could, he fixed a lot of lingering back issues with Star Trek through the course of the 10 episodes. And retconned out as much as he could from Picard and the Discovery did. Because, always the thing, the way the Enterprise D went out, no, not good. He fixed that. Like, no, it wasn't salvageable for a time frame that suited Starfleet to get it back in service. But ultimately, yeah, you could rebuild the Parthenon if you have enough time and gumption. And that's pretty much what Geordi did. He got the thing to get that saucer up. They were probably going to do that anyway, because, man, they're doing it right. They're still picking up the pieces. Get the saucer up, get it back, and then, let Geordi, have at it. And they're pretty easy to sell. No, I'm the former chief engineer, and I revolt on this show. Okay, job is yours. We've been missing anything for a while, so, have at it. And he went about it, just started. We're building that ship bit by bit. When a star drive section came along from the Syracuse, no one will happen to that. Hey, bingo! We have a complete ship again. It took about 30 years, 20, 30 years to do it, but okay, now it's back and now it's working. And because of it, it wasn't integrated, and it worked perfectly within the story. It wasn't networked in with all this other crap that screw up the rest of the fleet. And then the whole thing about yes, it was deliberately a story about the old folks coming out and saving the young folks from a social contagion. Something that I could relate to personally in my own life right now. Kids think they know everything. No, you just signed up for another one. Listen to the old folks. We've been down this road before, and you're idiots. But I digress. That responded well with the crowd. And again, with the USS New Jersey, there goes the disco prize. Never mind what they said. No, this is the Constitution class ship, and they didn't, any kind of break. No, and when showing the NX-01 with that secondary hull, there goes. These are the voyages. Closest is it was a bad holodeck program. Riker got it wrong. Okay, so yeah, Trip ain't dead, or at least didn't die in that way. He's dead by now, a couple hundred years. But and a bing, fixing more things in Generations. You got the Enterprise D with a more dignified ending there, and Kirk isn't dead. He's on ice at Section 31. So again, I offer up a free thing to Bill Shatner. A slight reworking of the Return, substitute the Romulans and the Borg with Section 31, and there's your story. Everything else can pretty much stay the same. Talk to the races there. Section 31, they're the best bad guys in this sort of situation. They want to try and make Kirk a sleeper agent and use Borg technology to do it. And you've got pretty much the entire cast back to it, and then accommodate them. They're all older, more beat up, and they have to deal with this crazy, 90-year-old cyborg. But yeah, it doesn't take a genius. Even as clueless as one's a Paramount, they can take a look. Yeah, okay, we never understood the show, but the fans like this. They don't like this stuff over here. But they've always had not like Discovery has been despised by large chunks of the fan base. There is no warming up to it. It's the Next Generation they're talking about, everyone warmed up to it eventually, and same with DS9 and Voyager and Enterprise for the most part. This is not happening with Discovery. Strange New World is benefiting from being not as bad as Discovery, but it's still stupid, and it's all very much tied to the hip. To Discovery. The first episode, they make reference to Michael Burnham. So, no. And again, with the Goldman making this idiotic statement, we have to change the... No, you don't have to change the backstory, you twit. Star Trek was never our future. You may have gone to a few conventions back in the day, but you clearly were not paying attention. Even at the time, you could have said, this is our... Again, I point a thing with Sitting on the Edge of Forever. 1930, and Edith Keeler excited to go see a Clark Gable movie. In 1930, there was no such thing. Clark Gable was not a marquee star until 1932. So already we're dealing with an alternate timeline. And in 1968, there were no orbital nuclear devices in the in orbit of Earth. So already we're talking alternate stuff here. So take your Star Trek is our future and shove it up your afterburners, okay? Never happened, never would, okay? Like, Rob Burnett's, it's it's a period piece of a future that never was, never will be. We can aspire to game in that direction, but no, that's as far as it goes. It's supposed to be a parable of modern mythology, but it's not prophecy. Never tried to be. They just tried to, Roddenberry just wanted to make some money and tell some stories, and make a few statements here and there. After a while, he started to believe his own bullshit, but for the most part, it's like he just wanted to do some intelligent stories for an intelligent audience, as opposed to now where they're dumbing things down. Well, we got to make the big no. They're doing precisely what again. In the more unguarded moments where instead of it'll get better in quieter moments, what do you think they'll do when you're gone? Oh, they'll kill it. They'll run into the ground. They'll kill it, and they're in the process of doing that. But season 3 of Picard, Lower Decks. That was another thing. Branching off from this thing, they scuttled the original plans for season 2 of Picard because it was too Star Trekky. It's a Star Trek show. What the hell is the problem? It's like if you're doing a new version of the Bad News Bears, and there's too much baseball in here. It's a baseball movie. Or you're doing a production of Karma. It was too much opera. It's an opera. The hell kind of mindset is Star Trek saying it's too Star Trekky? Were you dropped as a head as a kid or something? What the hell's wrong with you to even say that statement? It's the same complaint they had about the plans for what would become Star Trek Beyond, too Star Trek. How the hell do you form that word when talking about a Star Trek movie with a franchise that has been not well received by Star Trek fans? It's too Star. No, you need to be more Star. You need to be so. That's the thing with Lower Decks. It is very Star Trek. They love being a Star Trek show, and they want to play with every toy in the box. That's the. If someone were to complain, the Mike, it's too Star Trek, he'd say, "Thank you, I'm doing it right then." That's what I would like to one day get him interviewed in the live stream. I just got to figure out what the hell to ask him first. So it's going to be like Chris Farley. Yeah, that one episode we brought back the Spock skeleton on there. That was great. I want to get a little more formative than that. But and Mikey, if you see this, shoot me a line. We'll talk. All right. But why am I bumming? I don't even want to monitor on. Okay. So the current situation in Hollywood may be to our blessing because we're probably not going to see the Star Trek Academy abomination. We might see Section 31 because they are in production. Season 3 of Strange New Worlds, more likely because again they're in production. Well, we got to recoup the cost somehow. We'll put it. But the big thing though is with this, Paramount Global being bandied about between Skydance and Warner Bros. And again, you got their thing. Warner Bros. Just wants to buy Star Trek outright. And part of the thing, get it all under one thing. I think whatever happens, if Skydance holds on to it or Warner gets a hold of it, the Star Trek Productions idea, that is still a very valid thing. That whoever gets it should do that. It should have been done a long time ago. In retrospect, but no, get everything in there and have everything under one roof, so you don't have to worry about who owns rights to this. That's the one thing. Is Secret Hideout still has a big claim on just about everything that's come out since then. Since Discovery desecrated our lives. And there's a problem in doing anything under that without, basically the same thing with filmation and animated series. If you do anything that belongs to those shows, you've got to, cut a check. And Paramount it's never like cutting checks they don't want. They don't have to. They don't think they have to cut. So they had a big long legal battle to get the exclusive rights to the animated series away from Filmation. That's why it took until about 91, 92 before you started having overt references to the animated series in live-action Star Trek. And it's also why they can reference the animated series over and over again in Lower Decks, because they have the rights to it now. But prior to that, something like, Roddenberry, anything, it's not. However, he may have thought about the animated show. The thing is, he was calling the shots on it for the most part. He had approval on everything. Dorothy Fontana was the executive producer, really. You had writers from the original series. A lot of the scripts were originally going to be for a fourth season of Star Trek if they got lucky. You had, for instance, the entire original cast. It ran on NBC. It wasn't just animated series. Well, it was put up at Star Trek. The only difference between that and the live action was it was shorter and it was animated. That was it. The same stories in the part. In fact, David Gerrold pointed out that the scripts for the animated series were not much shorter than scripts for the live action series. It was all in the pacing. Animated shows much faster pacing. Normally a live action script, 1 page equals 1 minute. And the animated shows, the scripts were often like 40 pages. So you translate that into a live action scenario. And yeah, that's just about how long a live action show is today. It would run about 4, and yeah, some of the visual effects sequences would run a little longer. The pacing of the dialogue would be different. So you could put an animated show, like take one of the bottle episodes from animated show, and take it down to the Kingsland sets, and stage it with actors, and it would come out about an hour. Beyond the Farthest Star, that would be a fun one. A lot of green screen work on the alien ship for that most part, but most of it's on the ship, on the Enterprise. Now, come on, Vic, it'd be fun to get the crew back together for that, wouldn't it? But again, we're starting to run far off here, so there may be a light at the end of the tunnel for Star Trek, because the way it's going, these weird ass projects are probably not going to happen. And there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but there are some bumps on the road on the way out. So don't expect to be happy days here again for a while yet, until they can finally say, okay, Alex Kurtzman is out. Star Trek is back completely under whoever's hands. Under the purview of Star Trek Productions, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of one of these two guys, either Skydance or Warner Brothers. So we'll see how it all comes out, and see if I'm, any kind of prognosticator at all, or I'm still blowing hot air like usual. So, all right, we'll talk at you later.